Very good, thank you. And calling me in to get us please match so many members. But I am very good, thank you, Scott. And how are you? Yep. I've raced and obviously commentated a lot of these guys as well. So I can't wait to see what they've got in store for us this season. Obviously, it's only pre-season tested, so hopefully when the first race is back on, we'll have a full grid. And the 70 is not a bad turnout despite being pre-season tested. So see what everybody's pace is here like tonight. And yeah, it's still the same game as this season. Not changed over. So 2021, people have got a lot of time to find because I know people have been struggling in the last few races. And let's see if they can continue with a good performance like Walter and Pease as well, because I remember Pease last season, he had a struggle in the first few races of the season and brought it back in the middle. It was mainly due to internet connection issues and yeah, rotation. I'm on board with him, and he was about to start a flying lap and he had Sieb in the way, so that might have compromised him mid-entry just a little bit, but hopefully that hasn't affected him too much as he gets out of the way. And he's making it through turn 4, a little bit sloppy on the exit. Now through turn 6, we see Daniel Ricciardo overtake Valtteri Bottas here for the victory as he slides into the corner, locks up, and yeah, loses the rear end. So that's not what you want whatsoever. You want to get it absolutely spot on and ready for these next 2 corners, which is flat out the first part. Then you want to downshift down to 5th gear, I think, or 4th. Yeah, downshift 3 gears. You can see him going really wide, so he's not really familiarised with his lines through these corners. You can see he's just really struggling just a little bit. And yeah, it's a tricky track, China. 52.5 in the middle sector. Went a bit deep in there, compromised his next entry. Puts him on the acute angle, that does. And let's see this downhill right-hander here. Just want to bring it out wide to the left-hand side, use all the track, which he doesn't do. So rotation, he's struggling, but nevertheless, it is pre-season. Oh, so they can hear me, but they can't hear you. Right then, so we've got more people coming out of the track there. As you can see the Alpine just behind rotations. Mark goes quickest in Q1 on the medium compound tyres with a 32.6. It wasn't the Alpha Tauri last season, was Mark. First race of the season last season, it's whole pole position, and he didn't get the race victory that belonged to Rudy. And Rudy is on the grid this season. He finished about... Rudy's got some really good pace on his hands, but he had a lot of DNFs to his name last season. Hopefully he can get that sorted out, because we all know he's a quick driver but makes these little mistakes all the time, but hopefully he's got a rhythm together with a nice winter break. Might have practiced other leagues as well. 52.2, not a bad middle sector despite being on those medium compound tyres. So that indicates then that he won't use those medium compound tyres in Q2, because obviously you don't want to do more than 1 lap on those set of tyres. As he makes his way down this a long straight there with DRS wide open, should be approached about almost 200 miles per hour. As we make our way down into the braking zone, braking at the 100 metre board or just before it, uses 2nd gear on the entry, goes in a little bit deep and touches that curve on the exit, which you don't want to do. And now he's making his way through the last corner, long left-hander. Well, I say left-hander, not long. DRS wide open, and this lap time is going to be a 32.6, but puts him on provisional pole, but is to be replaced by Steve, who goes 1.4 seconds quicker on those soft compound tyres then. Steve Gamer, another driver to look out for. He had a few victories last season, and he's had a few podiums as well. He's a very good driver, and he joined in Season 4 at the end of it. He only took part in 3 races in Season 4, and he won the last race of the season at the British GPs. And he won a few races in Season 5 as well, so get up speed with this game. So the soft compound tyres as well, with DRS wide open. Then he's got a McLaren ahead. That's an Alfa. No, that's a Ferrari actually. Rudy getting out of the way. Hits with a nice turn down that back straight, approaching 200 miles per hour. Scrubbing all the speed off into turn 14. Short shifted spin rise the wheel spin on exit. Nice exit there for Ferg. We used to see Total P's in the Alpine. As Ferg then has DRS wide open and he goes into P2. Only 300 slower than C, but Mr. BT pops himself into P3. In the Williams this time is Mr. BT. Now, told me that he's struggled a lot this game. He's nervous every time he enters the race, so that's why he doesn't get the performance in. Obviously in time trial that's a different story because you're not under pressure in time trial because he's very quick there, but at the same time you have to be very quick in the race and qualified as well as Giroud goes P1. But yeah, Mr. BT has suffered a lot of problems. Almost won a race in Britain, but he picked up a 3-second time penalty on that last lap in an unusual place, and that was due to pressure. Could have won that race, but that 3-second time penalty hindered him. I don't think he finished on the podium. No, he didn't. He finished outside the podium. But yeah, Mr. BT didn't really have the best of seasons last season. Nathan JB in P2 with a 31. In fact, Scott, you there? Are you able to talk now? And they've got another chance to prove themselves as well as Giroud, Total P's and Walter. Who else could get in there as well? I think Mark has the potential as well if he can hook these together. Had that pole position back in Britain and he tried to challenge the win towards Total P's in Brazil, but obviously he's had the pace to cover him off. But yeah, Mark's looking to prove himself this season, see what he can do. He's got high expectations. What can Nathan JB do? He finished third in the standings in Season 4. Then he went downhill a bit. He didn't even pick up a podium, I don't think, in Season 5. He was close on multiple occasions, but obviously he suffered a few problems with other people. But yeah, Walter in P1 with a 31.0 in the Haas this time. What car was he in last season? I know it was only a few weeks ago, but he was in the Ferrari. Yeah, he was in the Ferrari. Oh yeah, Mercedes, sorry. I partnered with AJ. Where is AJ? Is he here tonight? No, he's not here tonight. So AJ is not here tonight. Walter and AJ were teammates last season. Is your audio working now, Scott? It's preseason tested, so we've got a lot of things to fix and learn. Have you just recently switched to PS5? I think Robbie just went for a little spin in the fast midsection there. Robbie, a new driver in CRL. It's very interesting to see what he can do because I've raced him a few times and he did beat me. I raced him a few times. He was a champion in one of the leagues before, so it's very interesting to see what his pace is like in the Aston Martin. Very quick driver for what I know so far. He's Mr. BT as well. And somebody's just moved up a place. I think it was Mark in P7. Yeah, Mark's got up into P7 with a 31.3. They were also close ties like last season as well, so very close. And a newcomer of Nathan as well. Relentless Nathan has just joined, so we've got 3 new drivers, which is Andigen, Robbie, and Relentless Nathan. So very interesting to see what they can do. Who else we've got out there on a lap? Rudy down in P14 there. Now he's coming through the end of the first sector. Is he on a lap? Yeah, he's on 3/10 quicker on the first lap on the soft compound tyres because he did his best time on the mediums. So let's see what he can do then, make his way through turn 7. Flat out turn 7. Try not to touch the curb on the entry. Turn 8. Bring it down through 4 gears. That's 4th gear. Third gear for here, he goes into second. I ain't seen anybody go second before in that corner. Try not to go too wide or light up the rear tyres in turn 8. 7/10 up in the middle sector, Rudy, and he hooks up the apex nicely on both corners. Short shift to 5th very, very early. As you can see down the right hand, there we go. On the straight, Nathan has retired in the pit lane. I presume he thinks he's safe. It's Q1. Only 2 people get knocked out in Q1 because there's only 17 people. Well, I say only 17. There's 17 people on the grid tonight, so only 2 of them will get knocked out. That was the braking zone. We go for Rudy then. You don't want to touch that inside curb there. Well, I think you can, but you don't want to go too wide at the same time. As Rudy then flicks it into left-hander. Did the rear sliding just a bit on exit. And he goes up into P9 with a 31.4. Who else got that there? Alright, mate. So tell me when you're going to end the stream in Q1. P's in the Mercedes then. He was in the Alpine last season. And he put on a very promising show towards the mid and end of the season because he was challenging Walter and Jeroen, and he was in the fight for P2 in the Drivers' Championship because obviously P1 belonged to Walter, and he managed to beat Jeroen in the last race of the season. He won the race as well in Brazil ahead of Mark. Sperger's retired as well. So it could be very promising between the Englishman and Dutchman of Walter and Pease, as Pease makes his way into 30.9s. So that's our first driver in the 30s, and we're definitely going to see some improvements because it's only Q1. The track will rubber in and evolve in Q2 and Q3 provided it stays the same. And yeah, that's a very good lap time there from Total Pease, showing what he could do in the early stages of Q1. His teammate is Giant for this season. His teammate was Ferg in the last season. Relentless Nathan, what's he doing? He's on his second lap. I think he's might go into pits at the end of this lap due to the lack of fuel he has. Robbie down in P14. I didn't see his middle sector, but it looks like he's in AI mode from what I can see. I'm not quite sure he's out there properly at the track because yeah. No, he's not in AI mode, he's just got out of AI mode right now. Head Bob here at P16 needs to find a time to improve to get out to the bottom 5, or bottom 2 should I call it. His first sector he's improved slightly by 300, and he needs to improve that a little bit more to try and get Duel. Duel's currently in the pit lane with a 31.88, so he definitely needs to improve that to try and get himself further into safety. Currently on the cusp of elimination. Head Bob has currently done 2 laps on these tyres, so this is his 3rd lap on these set of soft compound tyres. Well, let's see his middle sector. Has he improved in this middle sector? So, yes, he has, but only 7 thousandths, and that's not the time he needs to try and get out of the bottom row. ISO 9 is on his outer lap. I presume he's on a brand new set of tyres. Yes, he is. He's just came out of the box, and he's also one of the drivers that needs to try and find in time to get into Q2. And Bob Pierre with the DRS wide open. Total Pease has came back in the pit lane. Doesn't need to go out anymore. McLaren just came out of the pit lane, and that is Duel. So Duel is on his out lap. Head Bob Pierre is one of the challengers who could prevent him to get into Q2. And where's Head Bob Pierre then? Makes his way towards the final corner. And let's see what his lap time is like. It's going to be not an improvement. He lost time in that last sector. So Head Bob Pierre then. I don't think he has enough time to come back in the pit lane and go out again. Let's see what the time is. Let's see the yellow flags hopefully disappear. Oh yeah, definitely not got enough time to get back in the pit lane. Neither has the fuel or ERS. So I think that's it for Head Bob here. Looks like Head Bob is on the wheel the way he's turning in. I think he was a controller last season, but looks like he's on the wheel, so could probably be a reason why. Or this is not his favourite track, because I know a lot of people don't like this track and they've suffered a lot from racing here as well. It's not my favourite track at least. But ISO 9, one of the 2 drivers who are currently in the drop zone is making his way towards the line to start a flying lap. Coming into turn 1, a bit of hesitation on the entry there in the steering. Takes a very wide line indeed coming towards turn 1 into turn 2. Keep off the apex for turn 2. Has a slight lock up, won't affect him too much. He makes the apex. You can see the rear sliding out, and that'll cost him a little bit of time, as his first sector is going to be a 24.3. He's improved by 900, so that's a good start for ISO 9 so far. Gets a really good exit though, no wheel spin on exit whatsoever as we come through turn 7 now. Flat tire, he lifts off slightly, so he's not really comfortable going flat out through there. Turn 8, in 5th gear we go, bring it over to the right to get a good entry into the next corner, double left-hander. You can see he's very cautious on the throttle there. And let's see what his middle sector is like. It's going to be a 51.8, and that's the time. It's better than Herbompier's time, so I'm not quite sure about Duval's middle sector, but very good lap time so far from ISO Night. Very clean lap as well. Made a few mistakes into the first few corners. As we go onto the straight there with DRS wide open. Approached about 200 miles per hour. Heaviest braking zone. Brake before the 100 meter board. Tip the apex. Get back on the throttle so this car straighten up. And Q1's already over. Comes the final corner there. And DRS is open. Can he get himself into Q2? Oh no, he doesn't actually. 32.0. He doesn't beat Herbompia, so actually ISO Night stays in P17 and in the drop zone. So Duval is safe because Herbompia has retired, but I think Duval's going to finish this lap anyway. He's improved in the middle sector by a 10th. And where's Rudy? Rudy's out there the track so far. He's currently 1/10 down in the first sector, but his middle sector is down as well. But he's currently safe, so he doesn't have to finish that lap if he doesn't want to. But he has used up a set of tyres though. Because preferably Q1, if you know that you're the quickest, you want to use one set of tyres in Q1. And here comes Duval then, coming across the line. And this lap time is going to be a 31.8. He improves slightly and he stays in P15. So, the two drivers who are currently not tight is Herbompia and ISO Night. And total P's is currently the quickest. 1, 2 and 3, which sounds familiar from last season from P's, Walter and Giroux in the top 3. Is everything okay, Scott? Yeah. You can end it now if you want. There you have it then, total P's. P1, first driver in the 30.9s, Walter and Giroux in P2, Nathan P4 in the Aston Martin Sieb in P5, Ferg in P6, Mr. BT P7, Jaime in P8 ahead and Mark, Nathan in P10 in the Red Bull, AJ, oh yeah, AJ is here, in the AlphaTauri P11, Rudy P12, Rotation P13, Robbie P14, Duval P15, Bompia P16 and ISO Night in P17.